No, we're fucking not. We are not going to win it. We're going to get knocked out in the quarterfinals or fluff our way through to a semi-final before we meet a big team who's going to absolutely shit all over us and dump us out. We are a championship level team, or at least playing like one. We've got one way of playing football, and when that doesn't work, we go, fuck knows. Now, the squad selection, I said over a month ago, wasn't good enough. And it isn't good enough. Simple as that. The likes of Drinkwater and Carrick would have brought different things into the team. How shit was Wilshere today? Makes me want to throw up how bad he was today. Milner didn't even come on the pitch. I don't think he did anyway, at least. I'll have to check, actually, because he probably bloody did. And that's how much of an influence he had in the game. Henderson, just horrifically bad footballers. No, he didn't actually come on. He was an unused sub. Shows how much impact he would have had on the game anyway, doesn't it? So, England created a lot of chances today. That's not the issue. I'm just trying to get it up here. This stat zone app's just being double slow for some reason. We created a shitload of chances. The problem was we was taking far too many shots from outside the box. They weren't close-in shots. They weren't quality shots. The chance of the game for me fell to Vardy, and it fell to Vardy when we hit them on the counter. That's where Jamie Vardy is excellent. And that option, I think if we played a team like Spain, would be fucking deadly and could actually give us a real good chance against a team in Spain who've not got goals in them either. They're going to dominate possession, push up, hold the territory, and if we can hit them, then we can cause them some trouble. The problem is, when you're the team that's in possession and holding the pressure, there's no way in behind. England lined up today like I've seen Manchester United line up for the whole season. Is it any surprise it was 0-0? I wasn't surprised. This football is not new to me. This style of play, this way of doing something is not new to me. I know this is how it's going to go down. Knew how that was how it was going to go down for United. And as the game wears on for England, you go, this is how it's going to fucking go down for England. Not enough players willing to run at people. Not enough width. Not enough movement. 4-2-3-1. I said at the start of the game, I wanted to see 3-5-2. And my mate Wiggy was here with us, and we was talking formations, and he agrees on me exactly the same thing. There's only a couple of slight variations in formations that you think are drastically different. But what is drastically different is when you go from one up front to two up front. That's a whole different mentality in a team. That's a whole different way of working when you've got two centre forwards. And he thinks that you're more likely to allow the opposition to have the ball and look to hit them on the counter. I disagree. I don't think the playing of the two forwards necessarily leads to you having lower possession. I just think it's a different employment of how you move your chess pieces around on the board. Because Manchester United used to dominate possession with two up front. So it can be done. Obviously you need a quality team to do that. And England aren't a quality team, no matter how we pin it. So what's the options for England? Well, you have to have a couple of plans. Slaven Bilic in the post-match said it exactly correct. He said, Andy Carroll would have been a good option off the bench. Yes, he would. Yes, he absolutely would. And I think if you want to go with Harry Kane and Rooney in a 4-2-3-1 as your main system, then you have to have a plan B. Because there's teams like today, like Slovakia, that we're going to dominate in possession because we've got a better side, a better footballing side, a better overall side. But when they just compact and go, just attack us, and you're resorted to the long shots, which are easily blocked, it's finally come up. 29 shots on goal, 0-0. 29 shots. Like 14 or something were blocked, like 11 or something were off target, and then the rest was on target. That tells me that you're not working it into the box enough. We also didn't cross it enough because we had no width. So when you come up against a team like Slovakia, let's say here's a scenario, right? So if I was in charge of England, I want an A, B, and a C plan. My A plan is for teams we're slightly better than, that we might be able to bully, and teams that we're on a par with. So you're looking at maybe like ranked 8th to 18th or something in the world. That sort of team, a team that's got a couple of decent players in there, someone to look out for, teams that are going to have the ball, use the ball, teams that are going to be dangerous for you, but also in areas maybe not as strong as you. And for that, you can pick your first choice, your first style of playing, your idealistic style of playing, and you can try and play football against them. And you can try and use Harry Kane and Wayne Rooney, and you can look to play a little bit through the middle, and you can maybe look to hit the longer ball with them sometimes, and you can look to hit them on set pieces. Fine, that's your plan A. When you come up against the bigger teams, the Spains, the Germanys, the Italys that are going to dominate possession from you, that's when Vardy and Rashford become your tools. And maybe even on plan A, you don't actually go for Rooney and Kane. You go for Sturridge and Kane. Because I think Sturridge is wonderful. I think he's probably got the best feet as a forward in the England side. Maybe you play to his strengths and you do something along those lines. Anyway, plan B. Plan B is where you look to absorb pressure and you look to have pacey outlets. And maybe that's a job for Rooney as well, is to be hitting those balls, because he has got the accuracy to do that. Rooney and Dyer, I think, would be excellent choices to be firing it out to the channels if you was going to play Vardy and potentially Rashford as well, to really stretch that back line. When you play against a team that's got tons of possession, the back line's pushed up so far on the halfway line, there's acres of space in behind them and either side of them, because typically teams that dominate possession use their fullbacks to provide the width for them. So if you get in behind the fullbacks, you're stretching the defenders across. That's where either the attacking midfielder or the other striker comes across. You cause all sorts of fucking problems in behind for the defence if you've got the pace. England have got the pace in Rashford and Vardy. There's your plan B. But you need a plan C, because sometimes you're going to come up against teams that are going to completely and utterly stifle you. And Slovakia was that team today. They didn't come to play football. I've seen it at Old Trafford unbelievable amount of times this season where teams don't want to come and play you and beat you 0-0. You're like, what do you mean beat you 0-0? They came for the 0-0, they got you the 0-0, they win, yeah? That's what they wanted. England didn't want a 0-0, Slovakia wanted a 0-0, they beat us 0-0, right? So, when you come up against a team like that, where's your plan B? Now, that's where I've said always liked Fellaini as that sort of plan B, because he's fucking chaos, yeah? Andy Carroll is a slight improvement on what Fellaini brings in terms of the chaos. He's a lot more attacking in the air. He's deadly in the air. He's also got a decent shot on him. Andy Carroll would be the guy that I'd be looking to try and smash it into. Pump long balls up to. Use the width and put some crosses in. Now that can sometimes be easily defended. We saw that with Portugal the other night. They was pumping in cross after cross after cross to Ronaldo, who's awesome in the air, and Nani, who actually impressed me with how good he was in the air. But they couldn't get it on target between the two of them. Couldn't find the net. So you need a blend of the three. And there's never going to be one size fits all. There's never going to be one plan that infinitely, definitely works against another plan. Because that's the nature of football, is that it's always trying things and seeing what you can do and changing it on the fly. And you've got 90 minutes to try and overcome the opposition. People often forget it's two teams in a game of football. And it's how you come up against those teams. There's always a way round the opposition, and it's not always plan A. You have to prepare for plan B. And I think when Roy set up this team and when he looked at the squad, I think he picked it a lot based on social media and not based on what the strengths of a lot of these players are. Now, we saw against Russia, I would say that was a plan A game. We were better than them, we beat them, but when you've got plan A, you need plan A.1 or something, don't you? Yeah, you need plan A with a twist. The twist would have been Michael Carrick, someone along those lines. That's where you need the experience, and that's when you need all the rest of the sort of stuff that comes in. And Michael Carrick would have been a player to hold the lines, keep it calm, and see the victory out. You need all of these different things to be able to compete in a championship to the top level. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're just blessed with an amazing team that goes out, plan A, wrecks the shit out of anybody it comes up against. England don't have that. England do not have that. We need plan A, we need plan B, and we need plan C. And for all of those to work, you also need plan A.1 and plan A and a half and plan B, section C, because it's going to change on the fly and things are going to happen in games and referees are going to go against you and luck's going to go against you and you have to prepare for that. And I don't think we prepared for that. I don't think we had enough options in the squad. We took a risk on too many players that weren't fully fit. And Wilshere, for me, I've said it loads, and people keep saying, oh, on his day and when he's fit, he's the best midfielder, this, that, and the other. Well, no, he's not, is he? Because he's never fit. So you can't classify him as that. He cannot be relied upon to play 90 fucking minutes for you. So how can he be the best anything? You cannot rely on the guy. And if you cannot rely on him, you cannot fucking take him. The one person I would have took a risk on is Daniel Sturridge because the guy is a goal scorer. And you always take a risk on a guy that's going to get you goals because goals are the risky, hardest thing to get in football. That's what we're all working towards, isn't it? Is to score goals. So you take a goal scorer. Now, yeah, I did downplay what a midfielder does in the last video. But there's other midfielders in the UK is what I was getting at. Mark Noble, Drinkwater, Carrick, to name but a few, that I would have taken instead of Wilshere. Now, maybe raw ability, they're not as good. But you know what? They're not as injury prone. They've proven it over the course of this Premier League season that they're to be relied upon. And that is what we need. We needed reliability. He was fucking turd tonight. Absolute turd. Like I said on the last England review, you play mid-table players, you get mid-table performances. So, I expect us to go into the quarter-final after... I'm going to sneeze. That's really annoying. I expect us to get into the quarter-final after a relatively easy draw. I was having a look before. Can't really figure out who's going to end up being. Once we get into the quarters... Oh, excuse me. It's a lottery, innit? You get who you get. I actually think we could do well against some of the big teams, as mental as that sounds, in the way that United did this year, that we haven't got the plan B to take us past the teams that don't want to play football against us, but we've got that option and the plan B that actually works really well against the big sides. It remains to be seen whether the defence and the midfield's strong enough to compete like United's was last year. And I definitely think the outlets are there in Vardy and Rashford if required. There's just no width. Where's all the wingers gone in the English game? That's a worrying thing. There's no wingers that are tearing it up that you think, do you know what, you might have made a difference. Would Zaha have made a difference? Maybe. That's the sort of player that you need to be thinking about being able to bring. Maybe Zaha's not ready yet, but he's Rashford. And we took a chance on him. Maybe it's time to take a chance on the likes of him. I don't know. Anyway, stick it in the comments below. Your thoughts. How far are England going to get? What the fucking hell went wrong tonight? How could we have improved what happened there tonight? Thanks for watching. Vlog's out at 8 in the morning. Hopefully it's better than yesterday's. A little bit more happened today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.